Greetings once again, seekers. It's Brooke from BrookeReadsTarot.com, coming to you from always beautiful but very rainy today, Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. This is your tarot outlook for the week beginning Sunday, October 16th, 2022. There is always the possibility of profanity when I open my mouth, so my content is never intended for young audiences. Seekers, thank you so much for standing by over the last 2 weeks. I was doing some traveling for my continuing education, and I came home with a right nasty little case of COVID that put me in bed for a little over a week. So thanks for hanging in there with me, and thank you for all of the well wishes while I recovered. It was very sweet of you to all reach out to me. All right, today's reading, I am excited to say, includes a bonus tea leaf reading. Those of you who know me know that I have a passionate love affair with Earl Grey. He's my side guy, and today I'm going to make a cup of Earl Grey, one of my favorite teacups, and we will see what we can see in the cup for this week after we shuffle up the cards. But before I do, I will kindly ask you to like, share, and subscribe on whatever platform you are joining me from. And if you enjoy our time together today, please visit BrookeReadsTarot.com to book a session of your own. Now, I invite you to sit with me, perhaps with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee of your own, and take a little time to yourself as I ask the cards what we need to know for the week upcoming. For these outlooks, I like to turn cards for past or present, as well as future. That way I can see if we have any previous or currently unfolding events that are influencing the week's happenings. If you find that nothing in this session seems to pertain to you, know that the tarot considers no news to be good news, so keep listening to your intuition. But I do hope you'll stay with me to see if there is a relevant tidbit for someone you love. So get yourself settled and say hello to my guide and doorkeeper, Fergus. I'm going to take a few breaths and open the channel. Mother Goddess, Father God, guides, guardians, ancestors, please be with me now as I have need of your knowledge of all things, past, present, and future, on behalf of those experiencing this transmission in a timely fashion. Please grant that I am the perfect channel. Please grant that I am the perfect receiver. Please grant that I am the perfect interpreter of your wisdom as it shows itself in my cards and in the tea leaves. Fergus, please open the door to any and all benevolent, loving beings and our own dearly departed who would like to contribute truthful, accurate, relevant information to this session. And lastly, please bring me to the level you need me to be so that I may serve both the living and the dead. And so it is. So I'm going to shuffle and cut 3 times here. And I will pull 5 cards for past and present influences, and another 5 for the week upcoming. And since my tea kettle is here, I'm a little space limited here, seekers, so please excuse any shuffling out of frame. I think it's time for a bigger desk. Okay, let's see. And for past or currently unfolding influences, we are going to talk with the Emperor, the Ten of Pentacles, the Justice card, the Devil, and the King of Swords. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, they're coming up for the next week. Okay, so past influences or currently unfolding events that are going to influence the week upcoming for Sunday, October 16th, 2022. Let's start here with the conflict seekers. Let's start with the Devil card. Now, when the Devil card comes up in a reading, this always means to me anger, conflict, and all of the things that go with that, okay? If we are talking about personal difficulties, the devil represents an over-attachment to the things that do not serve the higher self or one's greater good. The devil can indicate addiction in all of its flavors. It indicates conflict and strife, either occurring within oneself or without, and not being dealt with in a healthy manner. Now remember, the archetype of the devil has to give us free choice. You will hear it said many times in the context of my sessions. The free will of the human being is one of the unviolatable principles that rule the universe in conjunction with the other laws. Terrible things happen when we usurp it. Okay, so the archetype of the devil means that you always have a choice to continue as you are, or to make choices that truly don't serve the improvements that we are always wanting to see in our lives. If you notice here, if you can see in my cards, these two little beings who seem chained to the suffering and the discontent, their chains are actually quite loose around their necks, and they can slip them anytime. So remember that every moment is a new opportunity to make a better choice. Now, if we are talking about external influences, these are the liars, these are the manipulators, these are the ones that do circumvent our free will, do things that impact us without our permission. So where is this conflict, seeker? Where is this strife? Keep your head up. Do not bury it in the sand any longer, because this is an influence that we do not have to suffer under. It is always a choice. Remember, human beings are reward-based creatures, even in the most negative behaviors. When we continue them, it's because there is a reward there. The ego is being served in some way. Do not be afraid to look into those dark crevices for your own betterment. Get that tidied up. Get it handled. Now, hand in hand with the devil, I'm going to come over here to the Justice card. The Justice card in the tarot is very much what it sounds like. This can indicate legal issues in all of their forms. The Justice card is a card that uses the sword to cut through the bullshit and cut through the illusion, and often the illusion of choice, in this case, that has been presented by the devil, to get to the truth of the matter, the unequivocal, undebatable truth and fact. And by doing so, we weigh our choices on the scale here. We weigh our concepts of resolution and equality and fairness on the scales, and we get it balanced, we get it handled, we come to an honorable, equitable solution. So whatever conflict is being offered here by the devil, there is balance to be had if you have the courage to seek the truth. Justice is blind for a reason. Fairness is not often a matter of emotional opinion. It either is or it isn't. It is equal and fair or it is not. So you have options here. Seek wise counsel. Whatever this conflict is that has come up with the devil card, there is wise counsel available. Ask people that you look up to. Ask people that have a good reputation. Ask people that have overcome what you are currently struggling with. And I'm going to come in here with this King of Swords. And now remember, these are past or currently unfolding influences, okay? These are going to bleed through to the week upcoming. So this is on our plate to get handled. So all of that said, we come in here now with the King of Swords, and I will read the Emperor right in the same place. King of Swords shows me that there will be a masculine, decisive solution to this conflict. The symbol of swords, again, just like we see it in the Justice card, swords are our house of challenges and difficulties, but also the realm of the logical, linear, rational mind. The solution is going to be balanced and make sense. It must. Okay? This is not an emotional card, this King of Swords. Kings rightfully occupy their status. Okay? So, there is an authority here. Seek that wisdom. Seek that mentor that has already overcome this. Okay? And also, in a similar vein, we will come in here with the Emperor, who is very much what he sounds like. Again, this is going to be cut, dry, decisive, factual, truth-based solution to the conflict, to the negative choices, perhaps, that the devil is offering. The Emperor rules successfully because of his wisdom, because of his discipline, and because of his willingness to make himself ready for the fight always. Both of these cards, the Emperor and the King of Swords, these are mature, disciplined, male-centered energies. Okay? So whatever this issue is, the time for having feelings about it is long past. Okay? If you've been wallowing in this discord, if you've been wallowing in the consequences of these negative choices, babe, the time for crying is done. And are you going to do justice to yourself and get this finished? Or are you just going to continue to, bitch and whine and feel sorry for yourself? The Emperor and the King of Swords tell me that that's not a viable option anymore. All right, you've already wasted that time. Get a handle on it, face yourself, and get it done. All right, now let's come in here with a message from the Ten of Pentacles. Pentacles are our house of the material. It is the job, the real estate, the bank account, and all of the physical stuff that supports our life. Ten of Pentacles is a card about making money in a public marketplace. So this is often the card of teachers, stockbrokers, wait staff, people who do not necessarily work in a solitary environment. These are people who often work in teams and who have to make themselves available to the public at large in order to learn to earn their living. This can also be a card that indicates a family trade, a family-based business. So if you are worrying or have questions or are looking to make some changes in your house of material, this is a card that suggests we may want to do some marketing. We may want to do some public relations. It's time to get yourself out there. Now, in a sort of similar vein, I'm just going to throw this in here. If we throw the Ten of Pentacles over to the stresses and the conflicts that is being presented by the devil, yeah, does it matter who's watching? This little audience that you have here, that you think you have concerning your finances, do they matter? Is their opinion helping you in any way? Maybe this over-attachment stems from your need to keep up with the Joneses, all right? And I cannot speak for anyone who's tuning in outside of the USA, but right now we are experiencing some financial and material stressors. Our economy is contracting right now, and we are all worried about our financial future. So some of this conflict that you may be experiencing, as presented by the devil and as indicated by the Ten of Pentacles, may be asking you to draw it back in closer to home. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. Stop worrying about what your finances look like on the outside, okay? Repurpose, refocus your finances closer to home, serve yourself, and stop worrying about what it looks like to everybody else, all right? They all have to do themselves, all right? Now, let's get into some future speak for the week upcoming. Okay. Ooh. Eight of Swords and Nine of Wands always read very similar for me. So I am going to start there. Bearing in mind the cards that we just covered for past and presently unfolding influences, keep those in mind and see if these two cards maybe speak to how you're feeling about the conflict at hand that has been presented by the Devil card. Now, Swords are our house of the logical, linear, rational mind, as well as our house of challenges and difficulties. Yes? And Wands are our house of actionable things. These are our growth cards. These are the places where we expend our physical energy to create change. So, whatever this central issue is, okay, we are going to indicate here by the sword that's stuck here in the front and this wand that's stuck right here in the front for this card. How you are thinking about this central issue and what you are doing or going to do about it are pivotal here. Okay, so whatever this central issue is, the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Wands says to us, we know that we need to think differently about this issue or do differently concerning this issue. Okay, thoughts need to be changed, action needs to be taken in order to create change. All right, so we are thinking and we are doing. And swords indicate that this is a challenge. This is a challenge. So this central issue, we know we have to think differently about it. We know we have to do differently about it. But if we think differently about this, or if we do differently about this, that means that all of these other things that are associated with the central issue, now we must also think differently and do differently about. And that just sounds like completely too much. That sounds completely overwhelming. And so we don't think the different thoughts and we don't exert the effort to create the change, and we stay stuck. You will hear me say it many times, my love, that is a trap. That is a trap of the ego that keeps you exactly where you are in that struggle, in that strife. The ego is risk averse unless it is something that inflates itself. Yes? Okay. So, because all of these other issues as they stand surrounding this central conflict, they are all as they are because they are predicated on the dis-ease, the disorder of that central issue. When you think the more helpful thoughts, the more proactive thoughts, when you take concerted action to make the improvement, all of those associated issues either heal themselves or they go into non-being by default. They must, again, because they are predicated on the dis-ease of the central issue. Okay, so now that you understand that that's a trap of the ego, you can get a move on. You can absolutely get a move on. And I'll come in here and back this up with the Knight of Cups. Now, cups are our house of the emotional. It's the emotions, it's the relationships, and all of those sorts of things. And the archetype of the Knight is very much what he sounds like. This is riding into the uncharted territory. This is disciplining yourself and preparing yourself as well as you can in order to rise to this challenge. The Knight invites you to have the courage to change how you feel about this whole ball of wax. Okay? Likely, all of this is the way that it is because the emotions that you're having about it, which are your own responses to your thoughts, are not in alignment with the improvements that you would like to see, okay? You are as prepared as you can be to get started on repairing and tidying up this issue, okay? The Knights have courage. The Knights have discipline. They are as ready as anyone can be made to ride into the unknown. And they also have the faith to know that what they don't know or what they have been unable to prepare themselves for will be revealed to them, provided for them as they move along the journey. So it's time to get on the horse and get this handled. Now, let's come in here with some money news, okay? That 10 of Cups, or excuse me, that 10 of Pentacles that we just saw in conjunction with the conflict, perhaps, that is presented by the Devil card. Do we spend this money wisely, or do we spend it to suit the ego, all right? Those cards were asking you to pull your resources back into your home and further pin them to your physical well-being and the management of your household, okay? The Four of Pentacles asks us to strive for whatever financial, material stability that we can muster in these, frankly, concerning times, okay? The Four of Pentacles, the money under the feet here represents a nest egg that we work to put together for ourselves, a little something that works for us and grows itself while we sleep, that we can stand on and build the rest of our financial life on. The money in the hand means that when we take care of the foundations of our financial house, the money that comes in and goes out on a daily basis works just fine. The balance is in the budget, the bills are getting paid, and the money over the head shows us that with these good practices, that abundance keeps flowing. Money is a state of mind, and almost all of us could really, really stand to decide to have more kindly feelings about it. Money is literally liquid magic in the reality of the mundane. You can turn it into almost anything that you want and anything that you need, okay? So we can all clean up our feelings about money and try to have a little hope. You know, maybe you're not expending as much energy as you could, and that doesn't necessarily mean working longer hours. Are you appreciated where you are? Are you being paid what you're worth? Is it worth the hassle? You know, I had an elder, my grandmother. She read the newspaper every day, and she read the classifieds every day. She liked her job just fine, but she didn't want to let anything pass her by. So maybe it's time to take a look around and see if there's a job that you are better suited to and that supports your financial stability. And let's come in here with some good news with the Ace of Pentacles. Now, aces are all about victory and completion and success in the sphere that they represent. So let's grow up and get some more mature money practices going on, and our financial victories, our financial well-being will absolutely be in the bag no matter what goes on in the world outside of us. Now, I am going to turn on my kettle here to boil some water so that I can make a cup of tea. And let's see if I have anything else that wants to be said here. Do you see how our disruptive thoughts, our unhealthy patterns here influence our stability? Okay? This stability can absolutely be yours. We do not have to be wealthy in order to be stable. We have to make the best choices that we can with the resources that we have in any given moment, okay? Eight of Swords shows us it's time to think differently about how we're managing our materials, okay? Any challenges here, any difficulties, you have to rise to them and discipline yourself to do better, okay? and the Nine of Wands. Also, we can do better. Our inability, for one reason or another, to make these better changes means that we are just putting all of these obstacles around the goals that we are trying to achieve here. All right? We are always in our own way, my dear, but it is a choice to stay there, as the devil indicates. All right. So my water is boiling. Please excuse my reach. I'm going to get out one of my favorite teacups here. And let's see what we can see. I'm going to let that steep for a few moments so that I don't burn my face off. Do we have any cards that want to be included in this reading? Yes, I do think so. Yes, I do think so. All right. Let's come back to this Nine of Wands and all of these obstacles that we are creating ourselves by our inability to make the change, exert the effort, spend the energy to make the change. The Five of Wands shows us that we are in desperate need of organization and leadership. Okay? Yeah. These are crazy times. These are trying times. Try to keep a lid on your shit. Okay? Where are you expending your energy? Is it supporting your goals? All right? Do you need a mentor? Do you need a teacher? Do you need to ask for some professional help to help you manage your time? All right? You can do that as evidenced by the Ace of Wands. Again, aces are our indicators of victory and completion and success. And in this case, the Wands, we achieve success, we overcome these issues by doing, by putting our hands to them and getting them done. We had not experienced. Okay. So I am going to give this a swirl and we're going to let it sit like that for just a few moments. If you join me with your favorite beverage, I hope it was good. I hope it was good. I hope it hit the spot. We're just going to let this drain off for a couple of minutes, a couple of moments. Now, let's talk about tea leaf reading. I wish it would come back in fashion, but America seems to be a nation of coffee drinkers, so I am not really going to hold my breath. So, tea leaf reading, the symbols that come up are very much, oh, how do we say, to be interpreted by the person looking. All right. Our subconscious has no symbolism or vocabulary of its own, and so it will dig around for these signs and the symbols that get you to think the thing. So when we see something in the cards or we see something in the cup, it needs to mean what it needs to mean for you. So let me tilt up here and I probably could have ground this down a little finer, but that's all right. Let's see what we can see. Now with tea leaf reading, the nearest future is going to be toward the top of the rim, a little further off toward the middle, more distant future down toward the bottom of the cup. And in seeking a tea to read with, we don't want anything too fine because the texture can be important. And you don't want anything that has big chunks of fruit or flowers in it. You want something that is pretty consistent. And let's see here. Let's see here. Well, I see at least 4 angels right there toward the middle of the cup. So I will take that as a harbinger of good news coming up. Not too much happening here in the very close upcoming future. Seems to be fine. Seems to be fine. Okay, well, there's a little fish right there. Fish for me are water associated and Pisces associated. So maybe you'll have some feelings to deal with coming up in the very near future, which, given what we covered in the cards and that Knight of Cups, I will take that as a further validation. Now, we've got a whole lot going down here at the very bottom of the cup because I did use quite a bit of leaves and they are a bit chunky, but let's see here. Let's see here. I see a couple of birds, which for me are often messengers. Air signs are all about information for me. So if you are looking for an information answer, if you've been waiting for that, it may be a little further off than you would have hoped, but hang tight. Oh, I've also got a dragon there. And dragons for me are about power and protection. And I think that that also bodes well for the messages that we received in the cards. Draw your resources in and try to do a better job of protecting your financial house, and that power and success will spring from that. And it looks like I also have a little honeybee here, which is a very sweet way to close the session. Honeybees for me are about sweetness and meaningful work and industry. And I will take that as some validation for what we covered in the cards, where we asked, are you being appreciated in the place where you are expending so much of your effort? If not, even in these uncertain times, it's worth exploring other options. And that's all I have for you now. Thank you so much for sitting with me for this extended session. I sincerely enjoyed our time together. I give my thanks to all who lovingly sat with me today. May we have the good sense to pay attention to what we have been shown and to remember that we are loved and supported. Fergus, please close the door until next time. Please like, share, and subscribe, and visit BrookeReadsTarot.com to book your session. Make it a good week, and remember, Seeker, if it does not appeal to your intelligence, it will appeal to your ego. Till next time.